right, this morning I am going around and I have some more of the bigger boxes. We could only find the gray at our local hardware store or Ace. Otherwise, we have to go an hour and a half to get materials. Is I'm swapping out all my Cove heater receptacle boxes for the bigger ones because I will be jumping and adding several rooms. There's like one Cove heater in each room, and I'll probably put 2 or 3 on same circuit. So there'll be multiple wires coming in and out of these the thermostat boxes. And so I think I've swapped out all the others because I've pretty much done all the other wiring for the bedrooms and so forth. So, and then once I get more 12-2 wire, we'll start linking all the lights together. I've got a couple more 3-way runs to put in. We bought more of that wire. So I'll admit the cost of the electrical is way more than I thought it would be, just in my mind. I mean, I'm guessing we're pushing between $4,000 and $7,000 in materials so far. Well, more than that if you count the Cove heaters. I don't know if you count that as electrical or not, but anyway, it's just stuff is pricey, and I've tried to buy it in bulk and buy it from places where I was getting what I thought was a good deal. So anyway, glad I'm doing it myself, I think. The other thing we finally remembered to do was to get these vanity light boxes in. So I think it's 75 or 80 inches above the floor is kind of a standard height. So it'll sit above the mirror. And I think my wife's ordered a bar there or something. So I'm just measuring the size vanity I'll probably build is 48. So 24 is the center. And so that's right about here. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. We did have the wiring in, and I jumped it over yesterday and just left it hanging here, and then I bought the boxes. So I've got 2 vanities in each of the bathrooms, 1 in each of the bathrooms. So I decided I want an 84. And then the mirror below it, and then the vanity here. So looks good. On to the next one. All right, this bathroom vanity, I had to do some blocking. It's I think 36 wide vanity, and yeah, and then 18 is right here actually. So I'm gonna custom build this one too, so I'll have to build it a little bit wider. I just realized 18 is right here, not right here. So I thought, oh, perfect. 3 blocks, 4.5 inches over from here is 18. And yes, I also put this block in first before I nailed that. And so I had to bend it out, cut it, bend it out, nail this in. And as you just listened to me discover, I'm 2 inches off where I wanted to be. So this is now a 38-inch vanity. So good thing I'm custom building these, hopefully. All right, what I'm doing now is installing the ceiling box, the saddle box. That's this guy right here. Just mounts up onto a cross brace or the joist, and has a guide screw that you can use to just quickly mount it. And then there's 2 other screws that are sitting right here. And I'll use those holes on the outskirts to pilot a couple 1/8 inch diameter holes, and then put those bigger bolt screws up in. And then I have my wire coiled right there, and I'll drop it in. That's already wired to the box, so, and it'll be mounted perfectly. That's what our builder used in our house over here. And man, we didn't have any wobble in any fan in the house, and it was really nice. So I texted him, I said, hey, what bracing system did you use? And he goes, just on a joist or a crossbar, mount the saddle box. And there's no wiggle to any of the fans in our house, and we had different size fans in different rooms, and a couple of them were pretty big units. This will support up to 70 pounds, so it's pretty slick. And then there's the guys that are good like in wartime, All right, so I'm gonna mount that. What I did is I just did the cross measure of the room and got the center, and then I just did the same off of here and got my center there. I could have used a plumb bob, but I didn't feel like going to find it in my trailer. We're reloaded. This one's wood, so it can't break. So it's pulling easy. Stringing the last 2 lines in this bedroom, and then I'll move out to the living room. Oh yeah. So we had to get creative with jumping around. I couldn't get around that corner for some reason with the layout of these and the length of my drill. So I jumped up, came down, came across, and then same thing here. It's just the studs stacked up weird. Mainly because I don't know if you remember way back at the beginning, this was one section of wall and I was worried about us being able to lift it. So I added these 2 studs and cut the seams, so we lifted them into sections. So I had to jump up, through, across, and come down into this outlet. So normally I don't do those weird jumps, but sometimes with these big windows and stacked studs like that and weird corners, I'm sure there's types of drill bits that can get in there, but I couldn't. And there's Benji, the plumber. There we go. Hang on. A little bit, right? That's good right there. All right. What? I went over the thing. Yeah, if you want to pull it back out and slip it under, I don't want that weird. All right, we have run a bunch of circuits. I think all the circuits are run at this point. We ran all the garage circuits. I just need to finish them out in the garage, like run that circuit from here all the way across. I need to connect the lights. We went to one garage door open and I need to connect the others. Run through that wall, I've got it going there. One thing we did add at my brother's suggestion was just last minute yesterday is we ran gas pipe up there for a heater, and then I just ran a power outlet. One thing I didn't realize until I talked to him today that you have to vent it through the roof, at least he did. And I'm like, oh man. I'm gonna see if they vent out of the side. So today I'm running all the garage wiring and trying to tighten it up so it's done. So we got 3 garage door openers in a row. I ran power to them yesterday from the control panel, from the breaker panel, and now I'm linking them together. Me and my son Matt had run all the 3-way lines, as you can see from that switch over there. So power goes into that switch, and then we have these thicker 3-way 12-3 wires coming in a channel around. And then, sorry about the bad filming, on top of a tall ladder. And then dropping down into that wall. So today I was tying all that up and kicking power back out of those boxes to the different light setups they'll control in the garage. And then I kicked one out to the porch light, and then I'll have to link that to the front lights. I ran all the power outlets this morning on both sides of the shop. I finally got wise and thought, why don't I just cut out a block and tack the boxes in like I want them, and then just notch out the block and put it back in. So hopefully that works out well. And these are for the shop heater thermostat and the cove heater thermostat. I decided I want them on the back wall over here because the shop heater, gas shop heater, potentially will be in that corner. And I had originally just run power straight to it and thought I'd have a switch or something. But I decided I want it thermostat controlled. And so I redirected that outlet to the thermostat, and then I'll hop over from the breaker to the thermostat. And then these cove heaters, I'll run a wire out here. I'm putting a cove heater above each garage door. Potentially the cove heaters could heat up the space because it will be fully insulated. And maybe I won't need the shop heater. But I guess if I want to go shop heater and no cove heaters, or one or the other, or a combination of the two, I can do that. So anyway, probably overkill having both in here. But we had already ordered the cove heaters when I decided to do the shop heater. So in fact, the cove heaters are here. Anyway, I noticed on my videos I keep saying anyway. Maybe I'll try not to. All right, drop this wire in and close this back up. So I just took a couple of big boards and cut them and put backing in on that. And then I notched this guy out, and let's see if it fits. Yeah, perfect. So it's got some gapping around here, but drywall will cover that. I'll probably glue something in there. I'll probably glue a board onto the back of this to close up these little gaps. Probably don't have to do that, but I just, cause drywall, 5/8 inch drywall is going over this, but I just want to be absolutely closed in on that. But I think that's the method I would use. I mean, it took me forever to do that, but I think that's the method I would use to break into these walls. Actually, I did find this big heavy duty box. It's larger capacity, and it has these screws that mount in there, and then they sit back inside the housing. And so I used that for here, over there, there, and then one out there. But for this OSB, I was able to put blocking in, set this in, 2 screws. And so if I could find this type of housing with those screws in the back. Anyway, this OSB is a bugger, and that's why I stayed out of this wall mostly. But what I for sure wanted this wall was the switches here, fridge and freezer outlets, thermostats on this back wall, and then my wife wanted one outlet there. And then we've got outlets close to that wall and a whole stack of them here and across that wall. So hopefully that works. But this is slick, so I'm just gonna grab my stapler and staple that back. I bought some plastic pop-in Romex connectors. I'd forgotten to get those, but my local hardware store had them. They're not the best, but they're popping in. One thing I don't like about this commercial electric setup, I bought these, they're only, I think, packs of 6. Or like, I don't know how much they would cost. Somewhere between $70 and $90, I think. But they're pretty cheap and flimsy. And it's hard to keep this unit from popping out. It has little connectors here that just slip in. And to cram all these wires in here is not an easy task. Sorry, I'm trying to pop that back together. So I'm a little disappointed, and man, trying to clamp these so that this doesn't slide around is a pain in the rear. They just don't clamp tight, and it's hard to get. I'm trying to use needle nose, but there's nothing to grip with. And so I'm a little frustrated. I think drywall might knock these out of where they're supposed to be. I'm gonna go home tonight and watch some videos, but I'm a little frustrated with the poor quality of these things and how difficult they are to use. So that is the end of that run of lights. I'm pretty pleased with it. It was easy because there's only one set of wires because it's the end of the run. I need 2 hands to do those. I will say that, I did discover that this screw right here is supposed to be the set screw that keeps it from moving. And it does create some stability, although this end still slides, the opposite end. And if you really did push it, it would still slide. So I don't like. Another crazy thing is I am almost done with my third 1,000 foot roll. Now, I knew there'd be some inefficiencies in my layout. It's not just sloppy and crazy and weird, but I'm sure experienced electrician might say, well, you could have done this, you could have done this. And I probably ran 10 more circuits than maybe an experienced electrician would have, which is no big deal. It's well within my range of what capacity I have. But because of that, and because of the weird length of my house, it's just one level and 90 feet long from one end to the other. I've gone through 3,000 feet of 12-2 wire already. I don't have any more long runs, but I've got to link up all the lights, just those little pieces in between, those 5 or 6 foot pieces in between all the lights. So. All right, second circuit of lights is done here in the garage. This whole bay of lights on the north end. I mean, it's only 5 lights, but got one more run of 4 lights on the west side to do. But I might have enough to jump one line, but that's it. I cannot believe I've gone through 3,000 feet of wire. And again, I don't have any weird, like, why'd you run all the way here and then jump all the way there? I tried to anticipate like these 3-way wires. You know, I didn't run 12-2 all the way over there and then my 3-way back here. I ran 12-2 for 10, 15 feet, bloop, and then did 3-way over and then up and even my run, I mean, I tried to anticipate, okay, this is the shortest run, this is the shortest run. But like I said, I did do a number of dedicated circuits or a number of, well, I could have really increased the load here and just run one line out and picked up 3 rooms instead of just 1 or 2. So anyway, I guess if anything, I'd say maybe have somebody help you like understand the nuances of efficiency in wiring runs. Although I feel like I had a pretty decent handle on it. So. But I would definitely go to the 14-2. I am not looking forward to the finish electrical working in each of those outlets, just doing this. It's a bugger wrestling with these 12-2 wires. One thing I will say is the longer I work with these, you know, I'm starting to not mind them as much. It would be easier with 14 gauge wire, but that screw assembly there that supposedly locks it, it does enough of a job. And then I've been tacking these in such a way that they kind of lock it. So with these in place, these 12-2 heavier gauge wires, and then that screw, it really does seem to be mostly in place. It does still feel flimsy and stuff. These quick connectors are really slick. So not too bad, not as bad as I was first saying. All right, I put my last 2 ceiling fans in and discovered I had forgotten to run power in a line. So I'm gonna run that ceiling fan off of the outlets, the living room outlets. I don't normally like, I mean, that's close enough. I can label it on the back panel, living room outlets and ceiling fan. I don't like having bedroom and living room ceiling fan. I don't like that, but as long as things are in the same room, and I think that might be my only thing that is a little bit different. Anyway, I think everything is running here. I just need to tie all the lights together. And then the garage is all wired, except for the cove heat goes over, but I need to place the actual lines and link them. But otherwise, everything out in here's tied up and good to go. So I cleaned it out so he can cut lines in the cement and we'll be good.